The phone rings at 3 a.m. It's a frantic call from a mother, desperate and trembling, reporting her daughter has vanished from a bustling night out in Claremont. A night filled with laughter quickly turns sinister as police rush to the scene. Who could have taken her? The streets, once alive with the energy of young revelers, now hold dark secrets. The investigation will uncover not one, but several young women gone missing. But what investigators discovered next changed everything, revealing a chilling pattern that would haunt the community for decades. In the late 1980s, Claremont, a suburb of Perth, Western Australia, was known for its vibrant nightlife. Bars and clubs pulsed with energy as young people flocked to enjoy the warm summer evenings. Among them was 18-year-old Sarah Spiers, who on January 27, 1996, attended a night out with friends. The atmosphere was electric, filled with laughter and music. But as the clock struck midnight, Sarah found herself separated from her friends. She was last seen waiting for a taxi along a dimly lit street. Her disappearance sent shockwaves through Claremont, but it was only the beginning. Just weeks later, another young woman, 23-year-old Jane Rimmer, vanished under eerily similar circumstances. Both women were last seen near the same nightclub, and both were desperate to get home. As the police launched extensive searches, community members rallied together, creating flyers and holding vigils. The sense of safety that had enveloped Claremont began to erode, replaced by fear and uncertainty. Who could be behind these disappearances? And what was happening to these young women? As the investigation deepened, it became clear that something far more sinister was at play. As the investigation unfolded, the police faced mounting pressure. With two young women missing, the media spotlight intensified, and the public demanded answers. Detectives combed through CCTV footage, interviewed countless witnesses, and followed up on numerous tips. But each lead seemed to lead to a dead end. A month later, on March 9, 1996, the community was rocked once more when the body of Jane Rimmer was discovered in a remote area of bushland. The discovery was devastating. Jane had been brutally murdered, her life cut short just as she was beginning to explore the world. The police conducted extensive searches, but Sarah Spiers remained missing. The pressure on law enforcement grew. The public began to speculate about a potential serial killer lurking in the shadows. With each passing day, the fear in the community deepened. How could a predator operate so openly? Investigators quickly formed a task force, dubbed Operation Macro, dedicated to solving the mystery of the missing women. But as they delved deeper, the case became more complex, revealing disturbing patterns and connections that hinted at a predator with a chilling level of planning and intent. Each day brought a new challenge and a new wave of fear. The investigation into the disappearances of Sarah Spiers and Jane Rimmer uncovered a chilling pattern. Detectives discovered that both women had vanished from the same vicinity, near the Claremont Entertainment District. As they pieced together the evidence, they found striking similarities in their cases. Both women were young, attractive, and had been seen alone or separated from their friends. But what investigators uncovered next was even more chilling. A third victim, 27-year-old Ciara Glennon, who disappeared on March 14, 1997. Ciara's case mirrored the earlier cases, intensifying fears that a serial killer was indeed on the loose. Ciara's body was found weeks later, buried in a bushland area, just like Jane's. The community was gripped by terror. Families locked their doors, and parents warned their daughters to stay home. As the investigation continued, police received countless tips, but many were unhelpful or absurd. Each rejected lead only heightened the sense of urgency. Who was this killer? And how many more victims might be out there? As the task force worked tirelessly, the public's anxiety reached a fever pitch. The once vibrant nightlife of Claremont became a ghost town, haunted by the specters of the young women who had vanished without a trace. Years passed, and the case grew cold, but it was not forgotten. In 2016, a breakthrough occurred when police arrested 49-year-old Bradley Robert Edwards, a former Telstra technician, in connection with the murders. The arrest sent shockwaves through the community. Edwards was charged with the murder of both Ciara Glennon and Jane Rimmer. But the revelation that he might be linked to Sarah Spiers created a whirlwind of speculation. Edwards had a history of violent behavior and was known to have been in the area during the time of the disappearances. The trial, which began in 2020, was a media sensation, drawing attention from across Australia. But the prosecution faced challenges, as they had no physical evidence linking Edwards to the crimes. Much of their case relied on circumstantial evidence and witness testimonies. As the trial progressed, the courtroom became a battleground of conflicting narratives, with defense attorneys painting Edwards as a scapegoat rather than a killer. The tension mounted with each day in court, revealing a community still raw from the trauma of the past. As the closing arguments approached, questions loomed. Would justice finally be served? Or would the truth remain buried beneath layers of doubt and uncertainty? On November 25, 2020, after a lengthy trial, the jury found Bradley Robert Edwards guilty of the murders of Jane Rimmer and Ciara Glennon. The verdict brought a mix of relief and anguish to the families of the victims. But while Edwards was convicted, unanswered questions lingered in the community. What about Sarah Spiers? Edwards was not charged in her case due to insufficient evidence. Many in Claremont felt a haunting sense of incompleteness. Had they truly captured the killer of these young women, or was there a possibility that more than one predator was at large? The media frenzy surrounding the trial reignited discussions about safety and the impact of unresolved cases on victims' families. As the dust settled, the focus shifted to the importance of cold case reviews and the need for advancements in forensic technology. The case of the Claremont serial killer left an indelible mark on the community, reminding everyone of the fragility of life and the dark realities that can exist beneath the surface of everyday life. The impact of the crimes is still felt, and questions linger. How many more cases remain unresolved? The case of the Claremont serial killer remains one of Australia's most haunting mysteries. While Bradley Robert Edwards sits behind bars, the shadow of uncertainty looms large. Investigators continue to explore the possibility of additional victims and the potential for other suspects. The community grapples with the scars of the past, seeking closure that may never come. Families of Sarah Spiers and other potential victims still yearn for answers, hoping that modern technology might eventually uncover the truth. As the memories fade, the vigilance of the community remains. The lingering question remains: are there more killers hiding in the shadows? And will justice finally prevail for all those affected? If this case keeps you up at night like it does me, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one.